Oh yeah. So first, what's like a faithist? So I get like a gist.
Well, I just sort of basically a faithist is somebody who worships the creator, but not any of the gods in the Bible or any of the pantheons. We do not need a savior. We take full accountability for our own actions, our own sins, our own faults. There's more to it than that, but that's basically the bullet points.
Okay. So
Pacifist.
what do you see God as? Just like a omnipotent creator, or what? Any
No,
attribute?
no. We see God as created. So we distinguish between gods, goddesses, and the creator. So anybody, the position of God is more like an administrative position for each world and gets filled for periods of time by different beings. And we're the ones coming up with that label of God. It's just a position that each world has that is responsible for caretaking and growing and guiding the world. But they are accountable to the creator. And so you wind up with the chief god of the world who is loyal to the creator, but you also wind up with other beings that want to be, their own god, and they create their own little sub heavens, and they influence the world, with different teachings, and try and develop followers so that when their followers die, they'll go to their heaven anyway. But yeah, we distinguish between God and the creator.
Okay. So on the last part, you said like when they die, they go where they believe they'll go.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So people create their own reality.
They don't create their own reality, but they are able to choose their path. They are able to choose their path. Yeah. I mean, that could be creating their own reality, creating their own destination. The destination's created. They can choose. They can choose to go. The forks in the road. They can choose to go to the left or to the right.
Okay. And do you have anything to like? Is this just like a belief? Is there evidence to back any of this up?
Okay. So let me tell you that the term faithist comes from a book called Owaspy, and it was written in 1800s. So that's where the term comes from. Now, the teachings that we're talking about are shared amongst many, many different cultures and religions, and you can see evidence that people believe these things throughout history. So you won't find everything faithists believe in one place in history, but you see a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. Like we have a lot of stuff in common with Buddhist and Hindu and Zoroastrianism and even the teachings of Christ and Native American, Aboriginal. So the teachings are shared and you can see it in history. Are you asking for evidence that would lend towards a proof argument?
Yeah. So
No.
like okay. So do you believe that there's like a supreme being that holds power over everything else?
Well, that would be the creator, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. And um yeah, I don't understand why someone would believe it. Like believe this. Like is it just like a thought that came to your head and you're like, "Oh, I might try this." But like why how does it make you from Christian to go to this? Like what compelled
Oh,
you?
well, okay. So I didn't make the leap from Christianity to this like a straight, one step from one into the other. I left Christianity and I considered Buddhism. I considered atheism. I considered um, going back to like Nordic pagan stuff. What's up, Peggy? I'm at work right now. One of my coworkers just walked in. Doing a TikTok live. Nice. Anyway, what was I? So I read a Waspy and it made sense. And there, yeah, it just made sense. There's no no inconsistencies that I've been able to find
So like
internally.
okay, so by definition, like God is like something that does not have any superiority, like any higher power, right? So if you claim that there's gods on top of gods, that'd be like a fallacy.
You can make up any definition you want. It's just a label.
Okay.
The way I described it, it's not a fallacy. It all makes sense. But, I guess it depends on how you're labeling it and your definitions you're attaching to everything. I agree with you that there's inconsistencies with the way that we see mythology and we see how things have been organized in the history as far as like the different pantheons. That's why I say that the way it's described in Owaspy actually makes sense because there's a structured hierarchy without any inconsistencies in the narrative.
Hmm.
I mean, there is a little bit of sort of restructuring the way we think of things. Like, yeah, we're all taught to think that God, whatever God is the highest. And when you read Owaspy, you have to restructure your thinking of, oh, wait, all these gods that we're debating about here on Earth, they're not the highest. They're just the sort of um, what we've been able to interact with or have mythology about in our past. Turns out they're not the highest. That's why they're always fighting with each other. And, it's like a dysfunctional family reunion sometimes. And the creator is the highest. And it all starts to make sense. And but yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. The way we normally think about things, it seems a little incoherent.
Okay. So like if a religion is not like polytheistic, like in the sense of multiple gods, and they claim their God is the creator, but you're telling me that their God would not be the creator.
Correct.
How? So, but that'd be like a contradiction. So, are they wrong or
Technically they're wrong, but it's not it's they're wrong. Yeah, they're wrong. I would say that they're wrong, but I try not to think about things too much in right and wrong because that limits the ability to have the freedom to explore and maintain curiosity. It's not it the whole point of this journey is growth and learning. And if you place people in boxes of, oh, you're absolutely 100% wrong and I'm 100% right, but we're all on the same journey. We're all trying to figure it out together. You know, this idea of right and wrong puts people in different, camps, pits them against each other, and it limits our ability to work together. So I don't like thinking in those terms, but, to answer your question, somebody can technically be wrong, but still be going in a, a direction that will provide them, a path that they will learn wisdom and lessons and continue on towards the light.
hmm. So what made you fall out of Christianity?
Oh, I just didn't need it anymore. I mean, I guess the more I studied it, the narrative of it, the text of it, the apologetics of it, um, it's it's not it it's not logical.
Like, can you give
And
me an example?
sure. Well, there's a the doctrine of inerrancy within the Bible cannot be supported. One, there is no claim within the Bible, and if you make the claim for the Bible, you can't support it with the Bible. A lot of things in Christianity is really more about tradition and less about what we're talking about truth and evidence for truth. A lot of things in Christianity are not based on if you're going to take the Bible as your guide for a religious, philosophical, or whatever mystical discipline, um, but not actually understand not understand its construction, its purposes, its motivations, the different genres of literature within it. I just realized that I could have a fulfilling life without the obligation to fulfill what basically winds up being a lot of man-made traditions. And when I realized that, I sort of just graduated. Like I think of Christianity, or I think of religion as more like a college class. You enroll in it, you learn all the information you can, and when you're done, you take what's useful. And you don't use all the information in college. You go out into the real world and apply what's useful, and the rest of it you sort of don't need, so you don't use it. But nobody would stay in college forever, so you have to graduate eventually and move on and study other things.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna get going. So, but it was a good talk. I like your
Yeah,
position.
awesome. Yeah, thanks for chatting. Appreciate it.